George Kittle.
Ooh.
I haven't seen him around recently. No, I've seen him on TV. He's a crossover sensation. He's got a nice je ne sais quoi in commercials. But on the field, he's mostly blocking. He had 17 receiving yards against the Eagles in a game. The Niners scored only 17 points. We talked all about Trey Lance. How about the all-pro tight end who gets paid like a wide receiver? How about where in the world is George Kittle? Is he with Carmen Sandiego? What
I
happened?
was just going to say he's with Carmen Sandiego.
He's with Carmen Sandiego, and we're going to need a super sleuth to find him because he's not running routes.
Okay. I tweeted on my Twitter thing during the game that Kelsey is a better tight end right now than Kittle. But hold on. Some of the 49er faithful, because they always defend the team, said, not really. Kittle is more well-rounded, and Kittle is a better blocker, to which I say, who cares?
Yeah, we're not rating offensive linemen here.
Really, they're not paying him all that, and he's not supposed to be a superstar because he's a good blocker. He's supposed to be unstoppable catching the ball. So all I can say is either somehow he's hurt or has lost his desire, or Kyle Shanahan is not calling the game for him. What do you think?
I don't know. I try to look at his face when they give close-ups of him, and he looks, I don't know, he doesn't look like himself. He used to have this exuberance that was infectious, and now I don't notice him during games anymore. When they do give close-ups of him, he just looks there. I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't look like the dominant player he used to be. George, if I'm wrong, prove me. But one thing I wanted to say was I noticed this in camp too. This was him in camp. He didn't get the ball very much. And I kept saying, this is really strange because in the past, he'd get a ton of catches in practice and then a ton of catches in the games. Not that many catches in camp this year. And I was thinking, I don't want to make too much of a thing about it, but I should remember it just in case it carries over. It's carrying over. What is going on?
Grant, in press conferences that you do with him, does he come out and say hi, dog, to people?
Yeah, he
still does the hi, dog?
Yeah, he still does that. It seems a little disingenuous.
But what I'm saying is, so he has that exuberance like that, but he doesn't seem to carry over. He's still doing the dog thing.
Yeah, and he's very exuberant in commercials. Like he's in a new commercial promoting the new Venom movie. He's so good. Him and Tom Hardy, they have a nice little back and forth.
Well, I'm really happy that he has good commercials. I do think it would be more relevant to the 49ers if he were to do good football.
Yeah.
Iggy, do you think Kelsey is better than he is right now?
I would say so.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about George Kittle like he's a Hall of Fame tight end. You know, he has 14 touchdowns in his career. I looked up, I think there's about 10, 11, 12 tight ends in the Hall of Fame, and all of them have at least 35 touchdowns. He's got a ways to go unless he's by far the greatest blocking tight end of all time, in which case I don't think he is. So we'll see. He's got some stuff to do. He's got some stuff to prove. And if he wants to transition to a life of acting, or, you know, maybe he wants to be a WWE superstar, he's got the personality for it. He's got the athleticism for it. But the Niners could really use him. They're paying him to catch passes. He needs to catch passes. He needs to score touchdowns. $16 million a year, George.
Yeah, and I want to say then, there are certain imponderables, unknowns on the Niners. One is, where is George Kittle, and with Carmen Sandiego, where is he? And what is Kyle thinking about his quarterbacks? Those are two imponderables. And what I want to say is, from a certain point of view, they're negative, but from my point of view as a former journalist, they're absolutely intriguing, and I would love to be covering the team and asking questions about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so focused on where is Trey Lance. I mean, a much more relevant question is, where is George Kittle? Talks a lot.
For example, Iggy, if George Kittle were to come to a news conference it's in the big auditorium, right?
Yeah.
George, how come you haven't caught more passes? I mean, it's as simple as that. Hey, dog, and all that. Say, how come you haven't caught more passes?
Yeah. Where's the production?
I wouldn't say that. I don't like production. I don't need production. I don't need capitalize. I don't need words like that. How come you haven't caught more passes? Now, he can answer that, right? How would he answer it? It depends on the game situation. They needed me to block. He could say that.
All I care about is that we won.
Right. But then you'd follow up and say, you used to catch a lot of passes.
Yeah. No, it's a good question right after they lose, and he has 3 catches for 40 yards. Hey, George, notice you really aren't catching passes this year, and now the Niners just lost. Where you at?
I like, you know, you did.
Because
That's a
he can
good
always
question.
deflect after a win. Well, who cares? I mean, I'm a team guy. I'm a team
That's
guy.
right.
And then it makes him
'Cause
look good.
I love it. You're right. That's
Yeah.
a question you ask after a loss.
Yeah.
So after a loss questions is, George, how come you didn't catch more passes? And to the coach, how come you didn't use the rookie quarterback if you didn't
Yeah.
use him?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm questioning Kyle on Lance, but very delicately because he's 2-0.
Yeah,
So
he's doing
when I asked him on the conference call yesterday, it wasn't like, why didn't you play Trey Lance? It was the plan not to play Trey Lance, or did the game just unfold that way? I'm
What did
not
he,
saying
what did
you're
he say?
wrong. He said, I don't plan to use Lance. I use him when I feel like it. And I didn't feel like it in this game, basically.
I didn't feel like it.
I didn't have the urge. The urge
He
didn't
said he
strike.
didn't have the urge.
He said he didn't have the urge.
He
Yes.
said that.
He literally said the word. Didn't have the urge.
I wonder what urge he did have.
Yeah. And so Kyle, and then Tim followed up, God love Tim, and said, well, do you understand people who say you should be looking for opportunities to play this kid and develop him? And Kyle's like, yeah, I get that, but I also understand that we're trying to win, and this is the NFL, and we're trying to win. And the only reason that's responsible to play him is if I feel he can give us, his skill set can give us something we don't already have, and he can help us. It's like, dude, 17 points. What are you talking about? Of course he could have helped you. What do you mean? If he can't help you when you're putting out 17 points, when can he help you? Kyle. Anyway, Tim had my back on that one. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. But
Thank you,
also he had two answers to that. One, if the kid could add something, but also if he had the urge.
Yeah, the urge.
So
The urge.
where's the urge? Where's the
Where is
urge?
this urge?
That's how
Kyle, did you get the urge today?
Urge.
Next time I see him, I'm gonna ask him about his urge. What kind of
So
urge?
what urge do you have?
Do you got the urge? All right. Alex says, this is a good question, Dad. It's been hanging over the team all year. Would bringing Frank Gore back be an upgrade to the running back position at this point, given the injuries? Look, I've been down on this idea for a long time. Frank Gore was over the hill 10 years ago. I think Frank Gore's longest run last year was like 15 yards. But where the Niners are at right now, here's one thing about Frank Gore. I bet you he could play a whole game and not get hurt. I'm not against it at this point. I think it would be really cool for the home opener. Why not? Who else are you going to throw out there? Someone with 8 ACL injuries?
Iggy, where is Frank Gore?
He said that he's training to become a boxer.
He's trained to become a boxer.
Yeah.
What division? He'd be
I don't know.
He'd
He'd probably be a heavyweight, yeah.
He'd be a little tiny heavyweight.
He would. He's 5'9", 215. I say Frank.
Oh, God. Can you imagine what George Foreman would do to 5'9", 215?
I don't want to think about it. I like Frank Gore too much. But Frank, even though we squared off that one time in the locker room, I still think you're a good guy. And I think the Niners should call you up because he can not get hurt. I think that's a great skill. The Niners don't have that.
Bring him back. And if he gets
back,
he could punch somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might have a good left hook.
He might have a good left hook.
Well, tell the story about him again, because I'm wondering now. When I found out that Vernon Davis actually majored in painting when he went to college, he went to Maryland, right?
Yes.
Okay. Vernon Davis is the all-time great guy. And so he brought in a whole bunch of his paintings and put them on the grass near the facility on easels. And for me to look at them, we had a photographer. And he told me he was really interesting about art. Only 2 49ers had the interest to come out and look at his paintings. Patrick Willis and Frank Gore. There's a lot of guys in that locker room. And Frank Gore and Willis, you would have thought they were at a Metropolitan Museum of Art. They looked.
It's like that scene in Ferris Bueller where they're at the museum and they're all looking at
That's how they were.
Yeah.
They were so respectful and so interesting. And I should say interested. And I really, really like Frank Gore for doing that.
Yeah, I like Frank Gore. And Frank Gore, I don't think he had anything personal against me when he stood eye to eye to me during an interview. He just, I think, heard from someone that I was persona non grata and he wasn't supposed to talk to me, but he didn't know why. He turned to the PR guy. I was like, am I supposed to talk to him? Can I talk to him? And the guy was like, you can talk to whoever you want, Frank. And he was like, and he was very standoffish about it, but that was the only time we always got along other than that.
Let me tell you what I think happened.
Yeah.
I think Harbaugh told people not to talk to you.
Yeah.
But then he told people it was okay to talk to you
Yeah.
because then he really started to like you. But Gore didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I think that's probably right. Titus says, could you ask Jimmy about stepping into his throws? Sure. Let's get him on the record about that. Why does Kyle have to talk about it? Yeah, next time.
I love it.
Yeah, 501 Club Kenny says, what do you think of Kyle Juszczyk getting 8 to 10 rushes? Nice job holding team accountable. I like using Juszczyk in the passing game. And another thing, like, where is the long throw to Juszczyk? Every couple of games, they would usually call the long throw to Juszczyk or the long throw to Kittle. Where is it? Where is it? This offense is too conservative, is what I'm saying. It's the most conservative offense I've ever seen from Kyle Shanahan. The run game isn't working on its own. It doesn't have to be Trey Lance, although it should be. It's got to be something. It's got to be something. Where's the spark? I'm the spark. You're a spark plug, Dad. Can't catch passes if not targeted. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, Kittle? Well, you can't get targeted if you can't get open. Just saying.
Also, we need to know, is it that he can't get open or he's not getting targeted? We need to know.
We need to know. Tehran says teams are figuring us out with Jimmy at quarterback. Teams will stack the box and keep a defender over the middle to force Jimmy to throw outside the numbers. Yes, I agree. What you do against Jimmy is you have a defender stand in that little 14 to 17-yard area over the middle between the hashes where Debo gets the ball in the big plays. If you take that away, the offense is what? So we'll see. To me, it looked like the Lions didn't do their homework in the first half. They gave up a lot of those catches to Debo over the middle. They adjusted. They did better in the second half. The Eagles did good. Let's see what the Packers do because the game plan is freaking simple, and the Lions didn't do their homework. That's my analysis of the situation. For real, ask Jimmy about stepping in. You won't. Oh, I won't? I'll do it tomorrow. For you, Alex. I'll do it for you. Promise. Just because you gave me $2, though.